Welcome back to the Monster and Taz podcast. Um, we have three people in the room today. We have myself, Taz. We have Monster Mash. Say hello.
What's going on, everybody?
All right, all right. And we have Bronx Baby. She came back to tune in.
Good morning, everybody.
All right, all right. Energy, energy. Love it, love it. So today's subject is about today's music versus yesterday's music. Now, I'm gonna give a little input and ask some questions around the room. First, my input is today's music, in my opinion, will make your ears bleed. It's sad to see such a oversaturated just market of young this and little that. But you gotta give it up though. Is topping the Billboard charts. It's also making a lot of money. It might not be, it might be
Actually on the charts.
believe it or not, they were. It's a lot of music today that's on the charts. And they're making a lot of money. But we all know that when it comes to some artists and some songs, it's politics behind it. It's politics behind it. It's catchy hooks and all that. The 70s. Let's talk about the 70s. The 70s music was about harmony. It was about rhythm. It was about a togetherness. The 80s and 90s was about, when it came to R&B, excuse me. The 80s and 90s was about sex, baby making,
Yeah.
okay, so, and marriage and stuff like that. So it was, music blossomed into meaning. But nowadays, whew, Lord have mercy. So let's get into the conversation about how we feel about today's music versus yesterday's music. Monster Mash, start us off, man. Tell us how you feel about today's music.
As far as today's music, I can pretty much say this, and I know this because unlike a lot of people, I know what it's like to be in the studio and record a song. And what I'm hearing is a whole lot of one-liners, a lot of auto-tuners. Like if you need auto-tune to sing, you can't sing. And if you sing it on your hook and you using auto-tune, it really sounds, all they're using is auto-tune and delay to make it sound good. You ever hear somebody say, hey, I just love that song because I like the way it sounds. They want you like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're falling into the trap. You're not actually listening to what they're saying. You listening to how it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
9 out of 10, they're not talking about anything because if you look at the history of what we call hip hop or rap, it started with the artists telling stories.
Absolutely.
How many rappers do you see right now that's at the top of the charts that can actually break down and tell a story besides Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah. It's very few.
Him and J. Cole.
There it is.
J. Cole, I like J. Cole.
Him and
too.
J. Cole, the only two.
So
I'm about to say that's like the only two recent artists that I would say I actually probably listen to.
give us more feedback, Bronze Baby. That's actually, I was about to point the finger to you to see what you had to say about it.
Yeah, a lot of it is lost on me. One, like you said, make your ears bleed. I get in this car with my son, and we literally have a struggle, like tug of war, over who gets to control the Bluetooth.
Wow.
What he
Hold
wants to
on.
listen
You're
to,
driving, right?
whether I'm driving or he's driving, I don't care. I don't care. I'm driving. I'm getting in his car. Nigga, you still my child.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna make my ears bleed or make my hair hurt before I get to work or before you drop me off to wherever I'm going because you want to listen to this nonsense. Do that after I get out of the car.
And like I said earlier, there's no disrespect to the OGs with the youngs and littles because they were the founders of it. I in my personal opinion, because I don't want to hop back and forth. Like I said, I just wanted to put that out there. The youngs and it's just no disrespect to them because they were the founders and they sounded good with it. But back to the R&B, we'll come back to the rap. Okay, back to the R&B, and we classified it, you know, during the 70s as old school. Okay, we classify that as, you know, old school now. When it comes to the old school R&B, if that's what you want to call it, would you agree or would you not agree that it was a harmonic period, togetherness? You know, because when you listen to it, in my opinion, you never heard anything negative except what was going on in life. Would you agree with that, Monster?
I would agree. I'll take it a step forward.
Oh.
Because when you look at like the era of the 70s,
Mm-hmm.
even though somebody was in a different genre of music per se,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't matter what style or, like I said, genre. If you had a hit, you had a hit because everybody was listening to it. They didn't put themselves in one small box. And you don't see that today.
No.
When was the last time you seen an artist in modern day do a song that's considered, like, you remember when country artists would do songs with rappers
Mm-hmm.
or sing they hook for them?
Mm-hmm.
Do you hear that now?
Well, you do, but when you do hear it, it's something not. It's catchy, like Old Town Road. Okay, that
Go
little
ahead.
not. I'm
I
sorry.
was just about to say that.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I-
Feedback.
Hit.
I wouldn't say,
Well,
and
that's
for me, like I said, it's a little different. Like you were saying, the artists now are auto-tuning and singing their own hooks, like Monster was saying.
Mhm.
Where before they would actually have an artist from a different genre, or maybe an R&B artist or a country artist, or which one made the other artist get notoriety, because now you may know this artist, but you don't know that artist.
right.
So now you might look into their songs or whatever.
Marketing
Two,
strategy.
They actually said words that meant something. Even this Old Town Road, it was catchy,
Mhm.
but they just took a song that was already made, added a different beat and added his voice to it, and made it a new song. It's not a new song.
So basically, it's like a drink.
And hold on.
It's like
I
a
gotta
drink.
say something
I
on
feel like a
that.
lot of the music nowadays is recycled.
It's like a drink. Not to
Yeah,
cut you off, Monster.
exactly.
It's like a drink. You know, you got a strong drink here, but you know it's watered down. It's
Exactly.
saturated. Go ahead, Monster. My fault. I didn't mean to cut you off, brother. Go ahead.
No problem. Like I was about to say, there's no problem with taking an old song. See, we from the era of, oh, you biting off that artist.
I remember that word.
If you take an old song, don't nobody know.
Yeah.
You taking a song that's a hit. I'll give you a prime example.
Plenty of them.
Now,
Oh my
She took
God. Here we go.
NWA song. That was a hit that blew them up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there like, why you crapping on a song? That's a show that you don't have no talent.
How you feel about that, Bros, baby?
You're not taking an old song that somebody might be on the B side. You taking a hit. It ain't hard to take a hit and flip it.
Exactly.
You really ain't flipping.
And that's why I feel like it's recycled, because you're taking a hit. Okay, like this new song, I forgot the artist. He's a African artist. But at the beginning of his song, when you hear it on the radio, you hear Tony Braxton's beat from what's that song? Not Man Enough for Me.
Okay.
That's a hit. That
Yeah.
song is already a hit. So when you play that song on the radio and we hear that intro, we tune in because we hear that Tony Braxton intro. And then a couple of seconds later, this beat drops and then you hear some other guy's voice.
Yeah.
But
It's like, what the
so
hell?
now I'm not listening to what, now you got me psyched up for something that is not what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm disappointed because I want to hear Tony Braxton.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel the same way. I mean, I know that, remakes has been, I don't want to flip all over the board here, but remakes has been a thing. Remakes and add-ons has been a thing, across the board with all kinds of entertainment. They even remake movies. You guys know that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes
But
the
don't you feel like
remakes,
some things should be left alone?
I honestly do. Classics should be exactly what it is. It's like classic. Leave it alone. Some things are just really meant not to be touched over again. So let's talk.
That's
My fault. Let's talk about today's music, today's artists as well. Now, I have a solid problem with the youngsters that come up today, and a lot of the OGs have a lot of problems with them because, you know, they're saying things like, "Oh, yesterday's music was boring and it was this and it was that," just because they're from a different era. What are your thoughts on their thoughts as far as the respect, the disrespect? How do you guys feel?
That's what
about
I was just about to call it.
I was just about to say that too.
Disrespectful. I feel like you may call it boring, but if those people didn't take those steps to make that music, okay, I'll give you a good example. I was reading an article with Cardi B and Madonna. Madonna was speaking out, saying that if it wasn't for her and the Leica version and, you know, prayer and all those videos and all those things that she did back in the day when they called her a witch and they wanted to burn her at the cross and talk about she was too risque, she was too promiscuous, she was too into sex. But if she didn't do all those things then, there wouldn't be a Cardi B now. She'd never be able to do the things that she's able to do on TV. And you need to respect the fact that Madonna made an avenue for you hoes. She made an avenue for the Megan Thee Stallions, the Cardi B's, the Doja Cat, the Ari Lennoxes that's all out here with they hoo-ha showing half naked on TV. You could have never did that in our day. But she did.
A wave
And they
paver.
ridiculed her
She
for it.
had talent.
A wave paver.
And they,
She paved the way.
They don't have
And they
talent.
ridiculed her
Everybody
for
just
it.
mentioned.
Yeah. So what is your opinion on that disrespect level, Monster? Express it.
Me, the whole thing is disrespectful because first of all, when you pretty much talk to anybody that's younger versus when we was younger, it's a whole different thing. Like for instance, we grew up 80s, 90s. We was taking songs from the 70s because we love that music.
Oh my
like,
God.
Man, that's raw, that's tight.
Yeah.
They looking at it as, oh, that's old. Don't nobody want to hear that. They just iPhone babies, like I like to call them.
Yeah.
Anything
yeah.
older than a year or two, they don't want to hear it because they programmed to only new stuff. I've been around young people, and you playing some older music, and they sitting there like, oh, I can't take listening to all this stuff. It's giving me a headache. And I'm sitting there like, if you play one song by anybody y'all normally play, I have a headache.
Yeah. And then, you
saying that because you want to hear what you want to hear because you stuck in your little small box.
and then, on top of that, you got like, I'm not going to say his name. Okay. You got one of the today's artists where he has said that Tupac's music was boring. And his ass is sitting up there named after a damn drug, and that's another thing. There's just lack of creativity with today's music and today's artists. Why are you naming yourself after a drug?
That's all they talk about now.
Lil Xan, you know who I'm talking
Like I
about.
always say this, if you take 5 things away from rappers, they wouldn't have nothing to talk about. They're gonna talk about sex, money, cars, drugs, and jewelry. If you take them away, they can't tell a story.
No. How you feel about that, Bronx baby?
I definitely agree. And that's why I think a lot of that music is lost on me, and I'm more into the J. Cole, more into the Kendrick Lamars, more into the ones that have somewhat of a message, because you're promoting the exact things that we're trying to rid ourselves from. We didn't glorify the crack era. We talked about it. So we talked about it in a way that was educating and letting you know, like, you need to stop this. You need to change it around. You need to do better. That's the rap I like. This, when you're talking about, oh, let's go get some lean. You telling that to my 15-year-old, 16-year-old.
And they love singing about
This is
shit
what
like
they're
that.
listening to.
Yeah, they love singing about that
and then
shit.
they want to go do it. Then they, oh, what's lean? Oh, I want to go try it.
Well, see,
And we wonder why we got an epidemic.
and, you know what? And then on top of that, let's talk about, the rap that had impact on us at the time. Two groups come to my mind. One of them was, in my opinion, a message delivering group. The other one was just about partying, but you know, it's gonna be the way you're gonna take it. Let's talk about NWA and 2 Live Crew. Now, okay, so now you know where I'm going with this. So the thing is with NWA, you know, of course they were. I think they had like a little message bringing here and there. They did talk about sex and stuff like that, but not as much. 2 Live Crew is legendary for just putting party music and sex and all this other stuff, when, you know, in my opinion, NWA brought to the table a message here and there. They did put some, you know, glorifying of this and that in there, but they still had some message in there, like F the Police. They sung that song for a reason. You understand what I'm saying? It wasn't just something to just put out there. They had an attitude about how the police was treating them, correct?
Exactly.
Freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech. Now, in comparison to those two, because I'm going to ask you guys a question. In comparison to those two type of groups, did you think one was necessary over the other group? Or did you think that was an error for both of what they platforms, what they were not platforms, but what they were rapping about was necessary, both of them? I will start with Monster. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll take it a different direction off of what you went. Okay. Do you remember MC Hammer?
Absolutely.
You remember they put 30+ million behind him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everywhere he went, he would drop 10,000 at a community center in that city.
I didn't know that.
Right.
Did you know that, Bronx Baby?
But
I did not.
yes, you didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I always wonder why he went broke so fast.
But they wanted him to be the biggest thing in rap. The people took their power at that time. That's why Ice Cube had the #1 album and MC Hammer fell off.
Was that Kill at Will?
Pumps in the bump, did that one little comeback, but he was done after that. He was never the sign.
Yeah.
But as far as to answer your question, I put it like this, and I'm gonna get real political.
Uh-oh.
What do you think the powers that be want us to listen to?
Nonsense.
They'd rather have you listening to 2 Live Crew, party, kick it, get drunk, don't take care of your responsibilities, ain't doing nothing.
Or your health.
That's how they want you. NWA, we can do our own thing. We can say what we want to say.
Mm-hmm.
We have a government that has laid out laws where we got freedom of speech.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say F the police if I want to.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want that. You're breaking down the establishment. You're not going the way we want you to.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I call a lot of people programmed.
Mm-hmm.
When you're programmed only listening to a certain thing,
Mm-hmm.
you really are programmed.
And plus, you're doing what they're basically wanting you. You're doing basically what they want you to do. They want you to follow suit under nonsense because it's a distraction from everything else going on. Correct?
Hold on, let me see. Yeah, you're correct.
Okay.
Think about this. You can have 20 kids listening to the same garbage rap. How many of them kids you think will ever try and listen to anybody else that's talking about something else? We all got kids, nieces, nephews. They don't want to hear none of that. They want to hear what all their friends is listening to.
Absolutely.
Following the program.
Mm-hmm. How you feel about it, Bronx Baby? Chime in, girl.
I felt NWA and 2 Live Crew, they both played a necessary part. At that time, we were going through a lot. NWA told you it was okay, like you said, to say fuck the police and have a voice and stand up for yourself. And at that time, we needed that because a lot of us were being oppressed. We were not speaking up for ourselves. We needed that somebody to come out and say, you know what, it's okay for you to say fuck this, it's not right. At the same time, too, because we were going through all that shit, we needed to get out and party and let your hair down and dance. You know what I'm saying? And turn up a little bit too. So they both had a necessary part, I feel, and you know what I'm saying, in those actions in that day. But they both spoke to a message.
That was a good
Even
response.
in the party and dance music, if you really listen to some of the lyrics and some of the words, even in the party and dance, they actually have a message.
That was a good
And
response.
we know mostly all of NWA had a message, and that's why we love them.
Yeah, Two Live Crew had to fight for them to not desensitize their album cover. Because they tried to make them change their album cover. And they was like, no, it's freedom of speech. We can put whatever we want on our album cover.
So how did y'all feel about, like, you know, when, you know, back in our day when rap was based on a message? You know what I mean? Like, it was based on a message of when you saw, I mean, I'm sorry, when they expressed that message, they was telling you a story like that was very, very impactful, and you just got sucked into it. And here's an important question too. Here's the question I want to ask both of y'all. What song impacted you the most off of storytelling?
Well,
the art of storytelling part 2.
I think that's what made the message timeless. Because even now, to this day, even with the things going on in the world, the temperature of the political affairs, the Trump and the surgeon of the White House and all this stuff that's going on, if you listen to that music, it still applies. It's still relevant. It's still speaking to the things that are going on to this day. And if you can make something that's timeless like that even 20, 30 years later, it's still relevant, it still speaks to what's going on in your everyday world, that's classic. That's music. But music is always supposed to be able to take you to another place.
So
for me, Slick Rick.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
He is always going to be, Slick Rick is always going to be the king of storytelling for me. I love him.
So
love him.
Is there a specific line within that? Because you know how we listen to songs and then we listen to that, whatever song impacted us the most, there was something in that song, a lyric or something they said that impacted you the most. Is it something in that song?
I said the art of storytelling.
What was a line in there? Can you remember?
I basically like his whole delivery, because he was telling a story about how he was so in love with this one girl and he went off. And this was at the time where Outkast had blew up. And he was hoping he would come to a show and see her in the front row. And then he wouldn't ask somebody, hey, what happened to such and such? And she pretty much died with a needle in her arm.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay. Yeah. There's so many of them out there, though.
That was real life, though.
Yeah, it's so many impactful songs out there. One of my favorites was KRS-One when he sung "Love Is Gonna Get You." That song.
Oh, that was my second.
Oh my God, that song was so impactful to me because he made you feel like that. Well, he was like, that word is very serious, very addicting. And it pertained, when he made that song, it was pertaining to everything that you can say you love about a person, your material things, and how loving those things can end up like impacting you if you lose them or if you love them too much. Because do you remember that song? When he went from rags to riches because of the drugs, and then the drug dealer was jealous about how much money he was making and tried to take him out. You remember that shit? Man, listen, that was an impactful. And then one of my second ones was Dear Mama.
Let me stop you right there.
Dear Mama.
I have to.
Go ahead.
Dear Mama was classic. But you said KRS-One. I got to hit on a note that you might not have known.
Go ahead.
They forcefully shut KRS-One down.
I already know about that, bro. He was political.
Why? He was big time in the rap game.
Yeah.
He was spitting knowledge. Love's gonna get you. 13 and good. Express yourself.
Yeah.
Not express yourself. Self-destruction.
No. Yeah, self-destruction.
He was doing
criminal-minded too. Criminal-minded too.
He was doing too much and teaching people at the same time. They don't want an artist like that.
No.
Nope.
They shut him down just like they did Pac, but we ain't gonna go there,
But they still doing it now to this day. Because like we was talking about, you see the Kendrick Lamar, you see the J. Cole. Yeah, but they are not as prevalent. You don't see them as marketed. You don't see them as advertised.
Mm-mm.
You don't see them as well known as the baby and I don't know what the heck, and Lucci and Wyatt. I don't even know what their names are. That's how
Yeah,
irrelevant they are to me.
see it's just
You see them everywhere.
they put whoever they want to put on the front line to either A, distract you, or B, push them onto you so you can be just focused on them, which is kind of the same thing. But you understand what I'm trying to say?
Mhm.
Like,
And
let me
I'm
give you
like,
an
that's
example, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Okay, in my car, if I'm driving, I want to hear something I'm jamming to while I'm driving.
Mm-hmm.
I was taking somebody somewhere. They pretty much, oh, can you turn the music down? It's giving me a headache.
Wow.
So you could have called an Uber.
You're right.
And then I go in the store, leave them in the car, tell them play what you want to play. I come back, the music is blast,
Mm-hmm.
and guess who she's playing?
Wait,
A
Megan.
female. I'll give you a hint. A female.
Nicki
Cardi?
Minaj.
Yes.
Nicki Minaj.
Mm.
Now, first of all, before I say anything
Another
bad about
overrated
Nicki
artist to
Minaj,
me.
Thank you.
I liked
I'm
her
gonna say it.
before
I'm
she
gonna say
blew
it.
up.
She's overrated. She's overrated.
I agree.
She's overrated.
She don't even write her lyrics.
She overrated, and she come from my city, and she overrated.
I liked her before she blew up.
You
I
know,
can't stand the Doja Cat. I can't stand them.
I don't have no. I'll say one thing. Okay, I'm not. I don't make as much money as they do. Nowhere near, and they doing their thing. I'll give them that. But when it come to my ears, you can't be a rapper, or you can rap about something, but you can, man, when you got a voice that's just so, oh my god,
Annoying.
oh, I can't do it. It's just like the last well, not the last, but one of the podcasts I was asking one of my friends, I say, what'd you think of it? She was like, well, you had that echo going on and it was kind of bothering me. I said, you know what? I respect that. I respect that. So everybody has an opinion is what I'm trying to lead to. But when you got these rappers who, that nasally, and I can't. And Nicki got that for me. She do that. She just real nasally to me. I just cannot. And Lil Wayne. Now don't get me wrong.
Whiny,
The
rapping gremlin.
Now look. Now I there were some songs I do actually like by him. I like Salute Me.
Few and far between.
What's that?
Mirrors.
Yeah, I like Salute
That's
Me.
it.
I like Salute Me, and then he did one on the Carter 3 that I like. It's real cold, but I gotta be honest. He got that nasally. I can't do it. I can't do it. And I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for that. I know I am on this one.
Get flack for the simple fact I'm not a Jay-Z fan.
Yeah, you gonna get flack for that, definitely.
I was a fan when he did In My Lifetime Volume 2.
Mm-hmm.
I was a fan when he did his first album. But every album I picked up after that, the video be hot, the CD be garbage. What's the use of putting out 16 songs and the 3 videos is the best songs on the whole album?
Mm-hmm.
Bronze baby, you want to touch on that one on Jay? That's that's up north right there.
I understand where he's coming from.
With me. That's a fact.
I understand where he's coming from. Jay has, he's not as hungry. He don't have to be as hungry as he was when he was still in Brooklyn in the project. I know
it's some politics behind it, but he got some.
What I will give Jay is he did what a lot of artists wouldn't do. When in the time when rap was changing and you know, one of Jay-Z's favorite albums for me was when he did the album with Linkin Park. Cause
Yeah.
I'm a person, I listen to all genres of music.
Yeah, you
I listen
open-minded.
to everything.
Yeah.
I'm very open-minded. I listen to
That's why I'm so
soca, rap,
disappointed with
reggae,
these rappers now.
everything. So one of my favorite albums for Jay, one of the last albums I say I will ever buy, was the album with him in Linkin Park.
That's called having
That was
range.
it for me.
That's called having
Mhm.
range.
That
When you
was it
got
for me.
range, and you know what? When it comes to all kinds of entertainment, when you have range, that opens a whole bunch of doors for you to stay relevant.
Stay relevant. Yep.
Yeah. So you
Say
know
what
what?
you want to about Madonna. 60 years later, she's still relevant.
Yeah,
Because
she,
that heifer
actually
never
she
put
is.
herself in a box.
Except
Yeah.
that Super Bowl. She shouldn't have did that.
Well, there's a
That
couple
was
of people who
fun.
did Super Bowls that shouldn't have been done.
Yeah.
Man.
No. What was funny was Wyclef was singing his heart out.
Oh
And
my
they had his
God.
mic low. She was up there lip sync.
But we all know Madonna's a self-centered chick. she ain't got nobody outside her.
Come on, you lip sync it, really?
So I got a
It
question.
was Wyclef.
So I got a question for you guys. Okay, so we done talked about, you know, the hip hop. We done talked about the old school. Let's get this R&B thing that were compared to now to the 90s and 80s. Okay.
Man, I miss
I can
H-Town.
start that one.
I miss Guy. I miss good music.
Yeah, tell us
Love
about
What
it.
making
you
music.
miss? You know what you miss?
Yeah, I miss
What's that?
the H-Towns. The
You
what's
miss
that? Pretty
hearing
Brown
R&B,
Eyes.
period.
Yeah.
I miss that shit.
Yeah.
See, we grew up to the point where we went to the club. You want that right R&B song so you can slow grind on it.
And not only that, brother. Do you remember when we used to sit next to the radio and, you know, they would play that R&B in that era, and we would just sit there and just think about that person we love, or
Or
just want to
somebody
be
we
with.
crazy about.
Yeah. Do
I got
you
one
remember
better
that?
for you.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I got one better for you. I remember being in the high school,
Mhm.
first things of college,
Mm-hmm.
and boy, I remember this boy used to sing to me.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be in front of school, in front of class, singing to me,
Mm-hmm.
singing those good old songs, singing that good
Had
old,
you milk.
you know, meet me in my bedroom, that good old pretty
Yeah,
brown
I remember
eyes.
that.
He had you melting.
Mm-hmm. That was the era, man. I'm telling you. Songs, you know, songs like
Man, it did
H-Town
something
Rocking
to
the Boot, Knocking the Boots, Let's Chill. Remember, everybody remember Let's Chill.
Okay.
Come on,
I
man.
still listen to God in my car all the time.
What was that, Monster?
Stairway to Heaven.
Stairway to Heaven. Yeah, but that was 70s, right?
No.
That was 80s?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that was 90s.
Okay. Man, listen. I just think that was the era where we had probably had the most baby making.
It came from the 70s.
Yeah, that was the OJs,
It
right?
got pushed. Right. You know, OJs and all them groups. And
Yeah.
that really came from the 50s and 60s.
Mm-hmm.
It kept going. We had our own generation of artists.
Mm-hmm.
How many group artists do you hear out right now that's singing?
Yeah. That, you
The
know,
only group you
can't
see, I
name
know them
five.
Chinese boys.
you just
Only male group you got, I know them little young Chinese boys.
how do you
Or like
guys
BTK, BTS.
I got a question. How did you guys feel about, because you know, it's always been a topic where, you know, the white you know, the persons or whatever, you know, like the JT, Justin Timberlake's, the Eminems and stuff like that. How do you guys feel like about that in the R&B? Because, you know, it's always been a subject with Eminem in hip hop. So how do you feel about that?
I got to chime in on
Oh, okay, yeah. How do you feel about that in R&B sense? You know, with NSYNC and stuff like that.
I'm gonna say something nobody wants to say.
Uh-oh.
We
Here we go.
didn't say this. Nobody else said this. This was printed in Jet magazine. Who would have thought the best golfer would be black and the best rapper would be white?
Controversy.
That was printed and it was fact.
Mm-hmm.
That was fat, and it was till he pretty much slowed down.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as R&B singers doing that, you don't hear them also because nobody's pushing R&B. You remember Jaheim?
Of course.
How many? He came from out of nowhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many
Half
other
naked in the
artists you
video.
hear blowing up like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And not that there aren't artists out here making good music, they just not. And it was like there's a couple artists that I found on YouTube or different places. They're unheard of. You'll never hear them on your radio or nothing like that. But they're actually making really good music, really good love music, really good
Yeah.
music that's getting back to
Yeah.
back to making babies and being in relationships and
Yeah. I will say one
Don't
thing.
have that no more.
I will say one thing. You know, as far as R&B go, it hasn't fell off too far in my opinion. The hip hop has, you know, with these little guys coming up, you know, rapping about drugs all the damn time and naming themselves after oh God, I think that's so lame. But I mean, it is what it is. They making more money than me, so you know what I'm saying. Yeah, you know, they making more money than me, so. But you know,
I'm like, how they on the Billboard chart? You can run across 50 kids. Ask them, what was the last 2 CDs they bought?
none. They don't buy.
None.
yeah,
They don't buy.
yeah, they don't believe in that no more.
What was the last 2 albums or singles you bought of somebody online? They're not buying.
Mm-hmm.
If we get back to that, we can change things. And if we get back to that, we can actually have our voice heard, because whether these artists want to realize it or not, they're not dominating like we did in the 90s. We was the last generation to do something that the industry didn't like, because you know they don't like us putting our music out like that.
No.
We actually had 20% of the industry on lock. Millions sold. All these artists talking about my single sold 5 million, 10 million. Stop lying. Ain't nobody buying no CDs. Ain't nobody buying singles.
Yeah. You know, there's a exaggeration when it comes to, you know, who's selling what and what is doing, you know, what went gold. It's not the same anymore, you know, because it's, you know, it's due to what we're trying to do in an agenda. We're trying to distract you. You know, we're trying to program you. So, you know, we're going to put statistics out there. We're going to put that.
How do they
And they be
calculate that
lying.
now? Where people don't actually buy CDs, and you know, I remember
They're
buying
lying.
magazines.
It's just like I just
and, you know,
said.
stuff about
Yeah.
artists. You don't do any of that anymore.
It's just like I
They're
said.
lying.
It's
Remember they
remember
said
it.
Lil Wayne sold 10 million in 2 weeks. I was like, y'all lying.
Yeah.
I couldn't find 5 people that had the album.
Yeah. Remember, it's all about distraction. It's all about what we want you to listen to. You know? And it's not just it's not just about music. It's about a lot of things. A lot of things are put out there to distract you from what's really going on.
Agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, and I know
they put all kind of agendas on you
oh yeah.
to make you.
And you know what? And here's the thing. You could talk about that shit all you want to. You really can. You could talk about agendas. You could talk about anything in relating to, you know, stuff like that. But long as you're like someone they ain't worried about, then ain't, you know, you good.
That's why Tupac had to go.
Yeah. But if you
He did something nobody else did. He was #1 in sales when Bruce Springsteen had a big album.
mm-hmm.
But guess what? Tupac outsold.
Yeah. You got this black man they're selling all these records and he getting
He was
all
in
this
jail.
That's the thing too. When you getting a lot of attention, you got a target on your back. You have a genuine big target on your back. You do. Especially if you black. I'm just keeping it real. I'm not trying to be racist or
And
anything like
he
that.
was vocal. He
Mm-hmm.
was political.
Mm-hmm.
You can't stand out like that. How many artists have you seen today? I ain't talking about just rappers. I'm talking about R&B artists that stand out politically.
Mm-hmm.
Stevie Wonder, blind. You know he was a 70s activist.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He quiet now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he old now. He like 80.
Mm-hmm.
Your voice still carries weight, whether you're 80 or what, but he's quiet now.
Where do you guys see music going from this point?
Further down.
What about you, Bronx baby?
I think I'm gonna keep listening to the old school.
You know what? That actually makes sense because I'm not gonna lie to you, man. You know, when I go through the music list that I created, like on YouTube or something like that, and I got a task to do around the house, guess what? I'm playing old school music. I'm playing that older music. You know, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of today's people. You know, well, I wouldn't even call them today's people. I would call them mid today's to yesterday's. Like, you know, like I still listen to Case. I still listen to Faith Evans, you know, and Carl Thomas, you know, and stuff like that. I still listen to them, but yeah, I still give them a whirl, you know, every now and then. But I'm going through that.
Say Mary J.
You don't like Mary J?
Always.
Can't sing live. Never could, still can't.
Believe it or not, it's a lot of those people that can't sing live.
I remember live.
I remember
Mary never could sing.
Never.
Let me keep it a band with you. Even when she was in Yonkers in school, she could never sing.
Wow.
We was shocked as shit.
Sing.
We was shocked as shit when we saw her on TV singing.
Mm.
They gave her plenty of years of vocal cords just to get her where she's at now.
So you guys think that
still, I put it like this: a natural singer doesn't have to yell. When you yell to put an emphasis on something, that means you can't sing.
Okay.
And she yells all the time.
Did you guys see that damn versus battle that they had with Omarion, Ray J, and Mario?
I heard Ray J stunk up the joint.
Oh my God, that was terrible. You had to see
like
it.
his body odor.
Girl, look.
I didn't see it.
He stunk because he couldn't sing.
Look, listen. When you get 5 minutes, look it up on YouTube. I was just surprised. I was like, damn. And guess who was the one that turned the show up that genuinely could sing?
Oh, Marion.
Girl, come on now.
Mario.
There you go.
Mario
there you go. He was
Marion is the one with the braids. Yeah, he can't really sing. And Ray J could never sing.
No.
His sister could sing.
You know what? Here's a controversial thing that I'm gonna say. You don't think Brandy can sing?
No.
Oh shit.
She did a show with remember she went on tour with Patti LaBelle and
that's a good singer, right?
Chaka
Great
Khan.
singer.
She was around real singers and she ended the tour because she said she couldn't hear herself because she couldn't really sing.
You can't put her in category with them two chicks.
That was her mistake.
That's like putting an eagle with a chicken. Like, come on.
That was a hell of a metaphor.
She did it.
That was a hell of a metaphor.
See, a lot of people who was Monica fans, I was her competition.
Monica could sing though.
Monica
Monica can sing. And she hood. I like Monica because she a little hood.
I like Faith Evans. I think Faith Evans is a good singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, she good.
She okay.
Just okay. I like her. I think
whether she good or okay. I know where she going because every now and then she hit that wrong note.
Right.
Okay. Now, Kiki Wyatt, Jasmine Sullivan, they can sing.
Yeah, buddy.
Not even sing, they can sing.
Jasmine Sullivan, yes.
She can sing.
I don't know about Kiki Wyatt, but I know about Jasmine Sullivan. She can blow.
Yeah, they can blow. They can blow. I miss the En Vogue days.
Yeah, they was
females who could actually sing.
Yeah, they was
you know.
Yeah, I think
Sexy
Coco
as
could.
shit.
Uh oh. Are
You
we
said
talking
what?
about looks,
It
buddy, or
was
are we
sexy
talking
as
about
shit
voices?
too.
Oh, he just jumped.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, it wasn't just, they had a look also along with a voice. So that made them, double threats.
Did you know this? When they brought them in to audition for a role, them four stood out and they didn't want to pick one, so they said, "Fuck it, put them all in the group."
Okay. Couldn't choose
That's how
one.
they all
Pick 'em
wound
all.
up in that role.
Yeah.
okay. So we
Y'all
did.
know
We
who else is good?
go
I'm
ahead.
gonna say this: R&B wise, a lot of people probably slept on it. We haven't, but the young people, y'all need to really get into this, brother.
What,
Actually, it's two of them:
what's that?
Anthony Hamilton, soul singer, soul singer. That's soul.
he
And
doesn't.
Cam.
I'm sorry. I'm
He
going to
just
say
say
this.
he doesn't do it for me.
I'm going to say this about Anthony Hamilton. I like him. I don't love him. I think that this is just my opinion. You could disagree if you want to. I think that his range is limited. I've heard.
But that's why he
I
stays
actually
in his
agree.
range.
Yeah,
I
but
like him.
Somebody
that
got signed.
He's alright.
Yes.
I'm sorry, for me, you like I said, when you have range, it actually opens a bigger door for you. It's just my opinion. That's all.
I
I'm not
get the
asking you
whole
to
range thing.
I'm not asking you
Like
to agree.
one of the
It's
most
just
soulful singers is Isaac Hayes. He didn't have no big range.
that's true. That's true, but to me, Isaac Hayes was
Iconic
he was iconic, but it's still, he wasn't
producer,
one of my go-tos.
old school. A lot of them. I put it like this: if it wasn't for Isaac Hayes, you wouldn't have an MC8.
Well,
A lot of them hits he had, Isaac Hayes songs.
yeah. I mean, I agree with that, but like I said, when it comes to me, I like them range guys. They can go high, they can go low. Like I like Robin Thicke. Robin Thicke, that dude can blow. He could go high, he can go low, he can go. I mean, that dude can blow. I like
T-Bone
those. Those are
Bryson.
my favorites.
Peabo Bryson was good too.
Him too. Yes,
I
sir.
love
Okay,
that.
so no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And the incomparable Luther. Nobody has range
That man had range too.
like Luther.
He had incredible range. And you know what? At first I wasn't feeling him all like that, but when I actually got to hear him sing different songs in different ranges, I said, "Yeah, this man is very talented. Very
And I'm
talented."
gonna throw this last one out there. Most disappointing career to me, besides Ashanti, Mariah Carey.
Yeah, that girl got range too.
No, I ain't talking about her range. I'm talking about disappointing career. Mariah Carey, when she first came out, she's supposed to be the next Whitney Houston. And she did something nobody else has done in over 50 years. She did a live set singing a Michael Jackson song and made it her song.
Wow.
Look it up, Mariah Carey Unplugged. It was the truth. She sung the
Was
fuck
it
out
Vision
that
of
song.
Love? That wasn't it, was it?
No, no. Before all that, it was her introduction.
Oh, okay.
That was the first song she ever came out with.
All right.
And the reason I say Ashanti, she was nothing but a hook girl for the 90s. She would never make a real song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The queen of the hook.
Yeah. All right. In conclusion to the show, we are going to go back to reflections. Now, we need the reflections on the music today versus the music yesterday. Now, I'm going to start with Monster. Now, is there any reflections that you would like to tell everybody as far as, what you think of how the music is going to end up eventually?
My reflections are pretty much this. Music is one of the most beautiful things on planet Earth. It can create harmony, help in sadness, entertain you, and be the reason you want to get out there and shake the thing your mama gave you. But at the same time, we have to be more serious about the content that we're willing to accept and open our horizons by not being small minded. There are many different genres of music. I listen to everything from classical to hip hop. I even listen to some metal. And hopefully everybody can be more positive and open their horizons and see what's out there.
All right. Well put, brother. Well put. Bronx baby. Is there any reflections going forward with how you feel how today's music is going to end up in comparison to yesterday's music?
I don't think today's music is gonna have the longevity and the sustainability that old school music has. I don't think we're still gonna be listening to Lil Baby and YFN Lucci and them 30 years from now, like we still listen to Luther and Mariah and them. But that's for me. Music is love. Music is life. Most of our lives, we can think of a song or a soundtrack that can bring you back to a time or a place, and a feeling. Embrace it. Don't be closed-minded. Open up to it. Learn new things. Search some new artists. I got a new artist for all of you guys, Sean Milley. He's on YouTube. Look him up. Great R&B artist. Good new music. Good love music.
Well put.
Let's get him out there.
All right, what's his name again? Sean what?
Sean Milley.
Sean
Milli.
Sean Milley. Okay. So I'm gonna end the show with this. My reflection in today's music versus yesterday's music. I'm just gonna say this. It's on a scale. I do find some of a lot of today's music to be pretty good, but it's mostly leaning to the R&B side. I'm gonna be real with you. It still has, to me, R&B today, it still has a lot of flavor. The hip hop today is kind of sort of watered down. Like, you do have your good storytellers and still, great up and coming artists. I do like Montana 300, from a hype side. I think he has a lot of lyrics too. But these other ones that's catchy and all that, they can stay where the hell they at. To wrap this up though, as far as yesterday's music, that's always gonna be today's music for me. Okay, so I want to thank everybody that was on the panel today, Mr. Monster Mash.
Yo, thanks.
And Bronx Baby. Your input.
Always a pleasure.
You guys' input on today's show was very, very appreciated. And I will see you next in the next podcast. Say your famous line, Monster.
And subscribe.
There you go. All right, you guys have a good one.
All right.